From the heart of the Czech Republic, welcome to Kladno, everybody, a city with a proud sporting legacy and the perfect host for another thrilling chapter on the World Athletics Tour. Tonight, the world watches as elite athletes will battle out under the European summer sky in a beautiful setting. Look at that. Forest surrounds this track here in Kladno at the Throws, a memorial meeting named after some of the legends who have come through Czech athletics. Talking of legends, we've seen numerous national records, area records over the years here in many of these throws competitions. Hammer, and it is one of the few world tours which does include hammer, which is fantastic. Obviously, it is not there at the Diamond League level, so we will get to see some hammer throws throughout the afternoon, and certainly they were competing earlier on as well. At the moment, though, it's a discus competition which takes to the circle, and we are seeing this men's discus competition underway already. Victor Hogan, by the way, those of you who are just joining us, leads the way, 62-34 in round 4. That soared him to the top. And recently, I believe, has improved on that mark. Just waiting to see what his fourth round throw did come in at. It was, in fact, his first round throw, which was 62-34. So we're just waiting for some of the results to come in from that men's discus. But introductions here. That's women's javelin competition coming to a close. As you can see, the Chinese athlete believe that might be a meeting record for her already. And that is done and dusted quite early on, that women's javelin competition. Well, there it is, though, the women's hammer throw. Apologies. Down there, we've just joined these images, so do forgive me, bear with me in the next 10-15 minutes to see where we are. But it was women's hammer throw, in fact. So results of that clarification already. Meanwhile, women's shot put, it's all going on here at the moment, is underway. Marsky just launching that one out. Katarina Marsky of Germany.
27letou rodačku z Krušných hor, tedy z té německé části.
German, fantastic athlete, 7th of those European indoors. Well, now then, there's Umar, 1872 lifetime best, and that is going to challenge a PB. Absolutely, from the Chinese athlete. Well, I've already seen one of them take the hammer competition, and that is certainly going to challenge for this women's shot put. 4 kilos, that little ball that they're lobbing around there. So, Umar, 1867. Great throw from her, right up close to her personal best. 5 centimeters or so short. Jessica Nchude, then, of Portugal. Comes into this quite comfortably, the favorite, 8th at the Paris Olympic Games. You know, anyone who's making finals, getting through that qualification round, top 8 in the world, really does put you in that world-class category. You can be referred to as that 18-14 for her, though, in round 2. Won't like the fact she sits in 2nd at the moment. They'll be moving on into that 3rd round, and this is a little bit of a replay from that hammer a bit earlier on as well. And this meeting, I believe, got underway pretty early in the morning. 11 o'clock, we saw the first few athletes take to the circle and throw here in Kladno, in the Czech Republic. This is the Czechman Samuel Kamara. Ended the competition with a 68.91 on that very throw. Good season's best for him. Out of the Czech athletes, finished up in 3rd behind Martin Burien and Volodymyr Skulovic. So there he is, Samuel Kamara, 68.91 in round 4. And then his Czech teammate. Great result for him today. Look, watch this. Out above 70 meters, 70, 50 in the 4th. And that throw saw him leap above his teammate Samuel Kamara, but also finished the competition in 7th with a lifetime best. One of the only men in the field, the only man in the field, 2 PB on this occasion. Great throw. It is a little bit of a barrier for these men, that 70 meters. Then, of course, they look to attack that 75-meter mark and beyond. Yeah, and this was Jake Norris. The Briton, 75-33. He threw again in round 4. So that was the round to throw far, really. Great throw from him, wearing the colours of England there. Norris, superb junior career. Wasn't he silver at those World Under-20 Champs in 2018, 10th at the European Champs just last year, though. So he had a tough transition into the senior ranks, quite a few injuries and stuff, and a little bit of drama last year. Didn't get selected for the Olympic Games, although was in a deserving qualification spot. Well, Joachim Gomez then, the man that many people came to see. Look at his throw, out way beyond 70 meters, 75-44. And for him, his best throw coming in the second round. The Argentinian, South American champion 2025 and their national record holder down in Argentina. 9 straight years as #1 in the South American nation. And a great story, actually. His father was also a South American champion back in the 70s, so following in his footsteps. Wow, then it was check #1, wasn't it? Volodymyr Myslivchuk. Big old throw from him, and he enjoyed it. The man who was born in Ukraine gained Czech citizenship last year in 2024. Had a great first year as a Czech athlete. But look at that, he's taking this. Just by 50 centimeters, though. 75-98 on the 6th round as well. So that's why we saw him really shouting there. Quite emotional in the circuit for that very reason. He wanted that hammer to go as far as possible. So there's a conclusion of that one. You can see the Czech man, Myslivchuk at the top. Gomez, Norris, Ratinsky, Leminsky as well, Zhang, and then 4 Czech athletes all finishing up 7th to 10th. Good experience for them on the international stage as well to compete against many of these men out there. Well, then quickly pan back to this women's shot put. Here is Inchude in the circle, round 4. Sits in 3rd. She won't like that 8th placer at the Paris Olympic Games last year. She can do better. There we go. That probably won't challenge, just looking at it already. We'll see what it comes back as at the moment, leading the way. Katarina Maisch of Germany, and yeah, Inchude fouls that one out. Knows that she's going to need 1871 to take the lead. Well, 2 Chinese athletes in this competition today, Yuma and Yusun. And Sun currently sits in 4th place, and Yuma in 2nd, and Chude separating the 2 Chinese athletes, with Maisch obviously up front, leading the way in this women's shot. Both of these Chinese throwers very, very close in ability. Come over here today, and they'll be on the European circuit for quite a while before they get back over at their Chinese championships to try and get that qualification for Tokyo. I'm sure they'll get good support down there. A neighboring Asian nation. So that's a good throw from Ma. We'll see what that comes in at, but that may well challenge. It does indeed. 1850 for Yuma, the Chinese athlete. Challenges and bumps herself up into the podium position. And now the German. Maisch is going to have to respond. 6th at this meeting in 2024. Well, she's doing a lot better today. Still in front, but they're getting closer. You're going to want to just get a bit more of a comfort blanket, and that may well do it as well. 1871 her best. That came in the 3rd. 4th round, this women's shot put competition here at the Kladno Memorial Meeting. Czech Republic, a beautiful, iconic venue, surrounded by trees, and it's stunning conditions as well. Perhaps not good enough 18:32. So one thing you can say is an extremely consistent few rounds of throwing. And yeah, but I was just going to say perhaps not quite windy enough for those discus throwers. They like to catch a little bit of a wind, particularly a headwind coming towards them, just to hang that discus up in the air for a little longer. Improve on that flight path. So we've certainly seen that. Talking of discus, there we go. Barta launches that one out. It's men's competition. It is another German who leads, Steven Reichter. But Marek Barta, the Czech athlete, trying to just challenge for those top 3 spots. He sits in 4th at the moment. Virginia Tech graduate, 60-19. That will keep him there. But it's progress. Well, this man sits in 3rd there, Mauricio Ortega. Well, he was he's a lovely languid thrower, isn't he? Just tidies that one up. Good from him. Ortega out. Right on 60 meters, similar to where he's been all competition. 59 in the 2nd, 60-62 in the 3rd. And that's been one of his best throws. 61-17 in the 4th. What's this one going to come in at in the 5th? Perhaps just over that 60-meter mark. Well, that in fact was his 4th round throw, 61-17. Victor Hogan then. Top 30 in the world. He's going to have to try and challenge for qualification spot come Tokyo. It's an athlete like him who will be just on the cusp of the Road to Tokyo listings, but we'll wait and see what this one comes in at. Well, well clear of 60 meters. Is it enough to take the lead? Reichter, as I mentioned, 63-53 leading the way, but this was Hogan's 1st round throw. We're jumping all over the place here. We're seeing numerous replays of the athlete's best throw, I believe. Well, and that was the German then. Steven Reichter. Lifetime best from out in Oklahoma in Ramona. Well, that meet ripped up the script when it came to the record books. Everyone throwing a PB. 63-53 though in 4. For Reichter. So that's how it stands at the moment. The German leads, Hogan is 2nd and Ortega in 3rd. Barta, can he do it in front of a home crowd? Just sneak, needs a meter or so to go ahead of Ortega. And of course, he can't improve. Huszak and Markovic 5th and 6th at this stage as we go into 6th and final round. A little bit further down, obviously, it's all Czech. The 4-8 brothers are in 7th and 8th there. Schwarzville, Nadila, Nikondor, Kopiva. Great experience for all of these men. A couple PB for 4-8. Jakob. Good throwing from him. 58-48. Throwing alongside his brother. Always good to see discus in the family. But yeah, the top 8 remained. And while those outside the top 8 only had 3 throws. And then unfortunately, they didn't make the cut in order to throw on to 6 throws, which is very, very common, especially at this level. Used to be the way in the Diamond League as well. Then they changed it, and is always the way at the major championships. Now, obviously, that 6th round in the Diamond League has a little bit of a twist to it. They just throw in, or jump in ranking order. So Yi Sun then. One of 2 Chinese athletes in this women's shot put in the 5th. Oh, well, that won't challenge, really. Perhaps just a little bit of fatigue setting in. What a witness her teammate win the hammer competition was mightily impressive. Meet record, 74 and change. Sort out. It's a very good circle where they always have a terrific hammer competition. 17-20, so another very, very consistent throw there from Yi Sun. And on the track then, that is the men's 800 meters. We've seen the B race already play out. That was before we came on air. Now, this men's A race about to play out for us. A fine field to look forward to as well. some of the names in where you've got to look out for. De Smet in the top, 144 lifetime best. He was a former Belgian record holder until Crestdown when it broke it back. But Maniscalco there, Lewis O'Loughlin, the Irishman. So we got good depth there. It's what you'd expect from a World Tour bronze label meeting here. Pacer on the outside, Shavinska. Look out for him, just 19 years of age. But with a personal best, 149.66, he's just going to do well to keep pace with these guys. Spirok is another man to look out for, 149. Lifetime best, 152 seasons best though. But Tarasi then, yes, well, 145. He's having a great season. Third in Toulouse just last week. He comes in form. For me, he is probably the favorite. 400-meter hurdler in an earlier date. Well, O'Loughlin, the Irishman there. Maniscalco, the Italian. He's another man who can challenge. Big breakthrough last year. Running that 145. Boketa in the black vest. Lewalski. Just one race outdoors. He's just getting going, really. You could see that season's best, 146.73. Everyone's sharing a lane. It's absolutely stacked, this men's 800. It's going to be busy over on the far side. Thankfully, they are quite different in ability. There's a wide variety of athletes here. Lifetime best for this man, Jadriga, the Ugandan. We don't often see many Ugandan 800-meter runners, but he's one of the best they've got. The Olympian, 2 times Ugandan champion. Davidek, 146.0, 23-year-old. And there he is then, De Smet, Thibaut De Smet. Great athlete. Also a little bit slow to get going here. Thibaut De Smet in 2025. And he's there on the list as Dutch, but believe he is actually a Belgian athlete representing Belgium. So just had to double check that. So it might just be a mistake on the meet organizer's side there. Well, there's Maniscalco, the Italian, 145.57. Certainly going to be one to watch. Well, away they go then. Round these nice, tight, intimate bends here at the Kladno Memorial meeting. The men's 800A race is off and away. As we'll go down on that back straight, it's going to be interesting to see when they break. Pacer's got a job to do to come across this field, and look at that. Everyone sharing a lane here. It's a small track, just a 6-laner. 13 or so men in this, and as we can see, Terese, Maniscalco in here. Rodriguez up at the front as well. Several men in that 145 region. Conditions are good. It's a little blustery track side. They need a pretty hot early pace. Be good if they can string things out early, and then it won't be so busy when the race really gets going on that far side. On the back straight, Rodriguez, Terasco there. Lukowski's in there. Maniscalco, De Smet right on the inside. His lifetime best coming from 2023, 51.39 at the bell. Well, it's strong enough, like I said, to string it out. A few men, unfortunately, having to still go wide around that bottom bend, well into lane 2 and 3. But here it is. Single file at this stage. Terese leads. That's De Smet and Lewalski. They're your top 3. De Smet in second in the black. Lewalski in third. Maniscalco is the man in fourth as well, the Italian. So Terese and Maniscalco, both Italians. They'll know each other well. They'll be competing against each other at that national trial. Well, 118 is 600, so they've slowed quite a bit, but they just need to hold it together, and they can get quite close to a 145, 146 if they can. Terese is there to be shot at, coming off the top bend. De Smet, perhaps a little bit more experience with this man. He's been on many international teams over the years as well, the Belgian, and it looks like he's just going to have enough to get past Terese. He's just going to edge clear, or is he? Terese is hanging on, and he fights back, and he takes it on the line. 146.76, ladies and gentlemen. What a run, and that is such a difficult skill to hold off in that manner when you are under pressure from De Smet. He had the momentum on the home straight. He just could not get by the Frenchman, Terase. What a run. Third in Toulouse. It's a lifetime best for him last week. And he delivered there, didn't he? 146.74. De Schmet there. 146.81 and Rodrigo 147.05. Well, look at this then, the Frenchman. I do apologize, Terese. I believe I referred to him during that race as an Italian, but that was very much Maniscalco. But here at this stage in the race, you're looking at the Schmet and you're going, he's got it. You know, he's just edged in front. Surely he's got this now. But Terese just manages to fight back. Rodrigo is the man in orange, closing very fast indeed. The Ugandan just left himself a little bit too much work to do. Lewalski fading back. But for whatever reason, De Smet just couldn't get by when he needed it most. He had the momentum there, which is a big surprise for me. I did say, though, the Belgian athlete, 144 lifetime best. He has started this season a little slow, but it is a long season, so potentially not a bad thing at all to start in that fashion, because he's going to have to really be peaking come that national champs. Belgium, we know they've got a great team. Look at the way Crestan's performing, leading the line for them. So there we are then, Jordan Tarasi. Terese there, 146.74, just behind him, De Schmet, Rodrigo, Maniscalco, Lewalski and O'Loughlin there, 148.38. So quite a big gap once they came off that top end. And then the remaining Czech athletes, Spirok, Davidek, Shavinska. We'll get to that. Good experience for them. And Spirok actually coming away with a lifetime best, 149.13. So good running from him. Takes 0.4 off his lifetime best. And that's your men's 800 meter air race here in Kladno.
O dojmy ze soutěže diskařů se podělí Marek Bárta, čtvrtý nejlepší muž mezi diskaři. Marku, dnes to bylo 60 metrů a 19 centimetrů. Jak jste s tímhle výkonem spokojen?
S tím výkonem určitě nejsem spokojený, ani nemůžu být. Dneska bylo všechno špatně, nic mi nešlo. Od techniky až... technicky se mi to rozsypalo a pak už s tím nejde nic moc udělat. Já jsem rád teda, že jsem to aspoň teda nějak dotlačil za těch 60 metrů, ale všechno špatně, nic dneska nějak nešlo.
Mluvil jste o tom, že se rozsypala technika. Co konkrétně?
Začal jsem tam dělat úplně základní chyby. V začátku menší chyba, uprostřed další menší chyba, no a v konci už tam nebylo co zachraňovat. Jako v tréninku to není tak špatné a pak vždycky přijdu do závodu, chci dát hroznou ránu, no a pak to tak vypadá. Úplně zapomínám na techniku.
Hodně štěstí do dalších závodů, děkuju.
Děkuju.
Well, we'll be having athlete interviews throughout the afternoon here in Kladno, of course, as lots of events are concluding and starting at different times. Jessica Nchude then, round 5 in the shot put. We've seen her just foul her last two previous attempts. She may well foul out on that one as well. She'll know it's not enough. See where it comes in at. Potentially just over 18 meters. She's going to want a lot more than that. She still sits in third. Well, 18.16, so pretty much matches her second round attempt of 18.14. She'll take it. Umar then in the circle. Did a great throw in the third and the fourth, really, to push her way up into second place. And that, more of the same. These women, all of them, being very, very consistent out there, but no one quite getting it all together, so it just clicks. I think they've got some big throws in them. It's always a good sign as an athlete when you are consistent time after time again, and you just stack up those results. You know you get it right on a special day. Everything working in harmony. You can throw one out very, very far. So this is the leader then. Katarina Maisch, the German, 1871. She threw in the third round. What she got in this one? Probably much of the same again. So talking of consistency, this lady's more consistent than any of us. And of course, one of the reasons we just see Germans dominate field events time and time again is just the level. Well, the heritage, for one, in the country and the respect for field events, but also the level of coaching is massive, and it really makes a difference. So that's how it stands at the moment in the women's shot put, and we are going to go into the sixth and final round on your screens there. So Umar still in second, and Chude, Yusan, Serena Vincent of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Icelandic international Gunnarsdottir, Mozarova, and Velikova as well. No mark, unfortunately. So the men's javelin competition. Also getting underway at the moment. This might be, I believe this will be a highlight actually, as we've seen quite a few highlights over the course of the program so far. We only just joined this meeting about 20 minutes ago, so if you are, again, just tuning in, welcome everybody. I'm Matt Seddon, I'm your commentator throughout the afternoon. This is a bronze label World Tour meeting here in Kladno, Czech Republic. And we are getting a quick replay of the key moments in this men's javelin competition. Patrick Mikulec. Good throw from him. Actually, was a mega throw. Lifetime best from him in this competition. Saw him finish in 4th place. And if this was his 5th round throw, we can expect it to be 76-71. There it is, 4th round throw, apologies. But yes, 76-71, nice lifetime best for him, Mikulec. That's Konečky. He was next to throw, next to challenge for the victory here in Kladno. That was a fantastic attempt from him. He was awfully consistent all competition long. And produced this podium finishing throw in the 5th round. 79-42 for him. And you could see what it meant to him as well, to be able to do that on home soil, get amongst the podium. We haven't seen too many Czech athletes recently get on that podium at this famed meeting. Well, and then this was the Romanian Novak. And you could just see the speed of the release, the difference it makes. And it was just very, very similar to that of Konečky, wasn't it, in the previous round? But did enough. 38 centimeters he had on Konečky to get that 2nd place. And that throw coming in round 1. He led for a while. Did Alexandru Novak. You can see round 1, got things moving, got this competition fired up pretty early, but it was this man, the South African, who came away with the victory. 81-37 in the 4th. Dal Schmidt of South Africa in a similar fashion just managed to control that release. He had the same speed as Novak, but controlled the release that little bit more, and that certainly helped the javelin just go that couple meters further. In the end, winning by 1.5 meters. Dal Schmidt, he's the South African national champion already, and now he's the Kladno throws champion here in the Czech Republic. Got a current world ranking of 25th in the world. And he's going to be touch and go whether we'll see him in Tokyo, but he won this one here today. And Mikulec, well done to him, lifetime best, couple seasons best in there for the Czech athletes, so always good to see. Well, after that men's 800, we will have the women's 800 next on the track. As well, that's going to come up in just a couple minutes' time as they're just preparing themselves. You can see a few nervous smiles, no doubt. And that, too, is going to be a very, very big field. It is very, in a similar fashion, it is a wide variety of athletes, just like we saw in that men's field. And I think that's important when you have a large field. If they're all the same ability, it can be absolute carnage. It really can. But, yeah, look out for Ellie Sanford then. She is one of the fastest in the field. 2 minutes dead, 0.5 seconds. Her lifetime best, 2:02 in Japan just a month ago. Laura Below of Belgium also. Rasanen is another athlete to look out for. So 31st on the world ranking. Coming into this one, what are we going to see? She is, I believe, actually just pacing as Rasanen. So I do apologize, but she's an athlete who is very, very credible and could come here and compete for the victory, that's for sure. Statikova then. 201 her lifetime best, 204 season's best. So another athlete who just is building through the season quite nicely. Susanna Havlunova, 207.94. She's going to have the Belgian athlete Laura Bilo on the inside of her, 204.15. Well, Lena Varone, the Italian, just 20 years of age, 202. Kabangu will be looking to go to that European Under-23 Championships, I'm sure, later in the year. Tampere. Sacharova, 209. She's going to have to keep good company here. She can't let too many gaps open up. But this lady then, Veronica Vancado of Switzerland, 201.36. Again, one of the very best in the field. Sprinter earlier on in her career. And here's Sanford then, all smiles, the Australian, over on a European tour. We'll see her in more and more around Europe in these World Tour events, I'm sure. But, yeah. Sanford comes into this in no doubt the best form. This is her 8th 800 of the year as well, due to obviously being based down in that southern hemisphere. That Australian track season starting at the turn of the new year. She's done a lot of races down under. So away they go in this women's 800. Of course, they'll break on the far side. Conditions just like in the men's race. Near perfect here. Lovely, lovely setting in Kladno, Czech Republic. Welcome if you're joining us. I'm Matt Seddon, the commentator in this World Tour bronze label meeting. So Sanford, I think, acknowledges the start list. She acknowledges that she comes into here in good form, but the pacer, Rasanen, cuts across them. Vancado of Switzerland also now slipping into second place. So Vancado, Sanford, and Cabango, the Italian. Those are your top three. In behind Rasanen, the pacemaker. Veronica Vancado, worth noting, sprinter earlier on in her career, is comfortable getting out pretty hard, and that's why I think she's feeling awfully relaxed. Always does through this first 400 or so. She featured on many 4x1 teams, international teams as a junior, and now transitioning with a lot of success into the senior ranks. 201.36, her lifetime best. And has she got more? 59.08 at 400. That's good. Rasanen probably needs to step off. Vancado is coming up on her shoulder now. She could do with Rasanen just staying clear. Otherwise, Sanford's getting a nice, easy ride. There we go. Rasanen steps off, and now it's the two favorites on paper. Vancado came into this with a better season's best than Sanford, who, like I said, is well-raced in 2025. She's done a lot during that Australian summer, and now she comes to Europe to attack the second half of her track season. And that gap is just starting to open up. The Swiss international Vancado is making a long run for home. Less than 150 meters to run. She comes off this top end in fine form. And you know what? This has been a perfectly executed race. Sanford's going to have to hold on here. It looks like a pretty quick second lap, a pretty even race. Watch the clock. 150 as we come down with sort of 60, 70 meters to run. Cabango's coming through from Italy. The fight for second is on, but no one's going to get Vancado for the win. 159.83, folks. That is a massive lifetime best and a meet record. And she doesn't believe it herself, and it just looked too easy to be a 159. That is world-class distance running. And I think that's where the shock's setting in. That's why she is surprised. We're surprised. But boy, oh boy, that transition from a sprinter in her early days is paying off, and Statikova there, 201.84. Great run from her. She came late, didn't she? But that's a massive season's best. 204 season's best, and she did run 201 indoors. Sanford fades 202. She's been consistent there all year. Cabango as well, 202.39. And those top four really class above the rest of the field. But Vancado, class above the rest of them. 159.81 confirmed. And you have to say, where did that come from? For me, though, it's just the relaxation. Through that first 400, you could tell she was hungry. I think the pacing was excellent. Often we see in 800-meter running a huge positive split. That first lap is just so aggressive. But Rasanen did a fantastic job. 59 at 400, you can work with that. And to close in 60? Wow. Veronica Van Cardo. Now that is a new Swiss name. We already have the likes of Audrey Werra, who is dominating on the international scene. We're seeing her time and time again. She's just a youngster. Van Cardo, 25 years of age, taking the win here at the Kladno Memorial meeting. And Studakova coming through for second there. Sanford and Cabango dipping on the line. Well, that gives you a little bit of flavor of what's to come, and also gives you a little bit of an indication of just how good these conditions are. We'll have the 100-meter races up next. We have 3 races. We have a men's A and a B race. Well, sorry, a women's A and a B race, and then a men's race as well. So, women's 800, there's the results. Confirmation, meet record. Second meet record we've seen here at Kladno already today. Veronica Van Cardo of Switzerland. Pavla Stukova, season's best for her, and Sanford in third. And a little bit further down the field, we saw, obviously, Rasanen was the pacer, so ignore that DNF. But, yeah, 2:10 from Haplanova and Sesharova as well, 2:11. They would have suffered from that early pace. That would have been tough.
The main goal was to go under the 2 minutes. I didn't thought that I would be today, so I'm really happy.
How did you run? Did you feel that it's good?
No, not at all. I feel that we were a little bit too slow the first 400, so I was scared that the pace was not good. So after the first 400, I was like, keep pushing, and I didn't see the chronometer, so it was a bit of a shock when I arrived on the finish line, so I'm really happy.
Congratulations so much.
Thank you.
Veronika Van Cardová mluvila o tom, že je hrozně šťastná, že se jí poprvé v kariéře
Well, there you are, Veronica Van Cardo then,
na trati 800 metrů. Říkala, že
telling us exactly how she felt out there and sensing it was a little bit slow. 59.0 through 400, and yeah, obviously if you're looking to go through 2 minutes, it's perhaps not quick enough, but I think it also does highlight what you can do off of even splits in an 800. That's really where the magic is, and she had a clear run over that last lap. Awfully important. Many races, you can be checking your stride, you can be really battling crucially at the wrong times in 800. It can cost you 0.5 of a second, even a second. But had a clear run and pushed on and did a fine job. Well, Norwegian in the high jump, men's high jump competition, just getting underway, 10 minutes or so ago. So this is Bolstad. Now then Bolstad clears 2:03.
Z té sestavy závodníků, kteří se dnes dostali do hry, tak neuspěl jen na té úvodní výšce.
Well, Peric really does need to clear this in order to stay into the competition. Does. Well done, Peric. He's perhaps just frustrated. It came down to 3 jumps, to be honest with you. It's something he is more than capable of. We've seen him time and time again go clear of that in the past. Lifetime best of 2:14. To be having trouble at 2:3 is a long, long way off of where you want to be. Sometimes it plays out like that, though. And multiple clearances early on in this competition. Surprised to see him come in as low as 188, to be honest, and work his way up.
Pavlo, 800 v čase 2 minuty 1 vteřina a 80 setin. Jak jste s tím spokojená i s celým průběhem závodu?
Já jsem moc spokojená. Já jsem si jela hlavně na čas kolem 2:03, aby to byl limit na mistrovství Evropy do 23 let. S tím, že v sobotu běžím ještě ve Vídni, kde jsem právě chtěla běžet limit na univerzádu, který byl 2:02. Takže tím, že se to povedlo už teď, tak můžu jít do těch dalších závodů s klidnou hlavou a třeba to bude ještě o to lepší.
Jak jste se cítila ve finiši?
Ve finiši jsem se cítila dobře, já jsem se trošku bála, že to bude moc rychle rozběhla na mě.
protože jsem slyšela, že mají pacemaker 57,5, což by na mě bylo fakt rychle. Takže jsem měla taktiku jít spíš zezadu a držet se jich co nejdýl a ve finiši jsem zjistila, že mám nějak hodně síly a ty holky přede mnou docela tuhly, takže jsem ráda, že se to takhle povedlo a že jsem měla s kým běžet.
Teď, když už máte limit jak na univerziádu, tak na mistrovství světa atletů do 23 let, tak jak moc vám to dodá klidu do dalších startů?
Dodá mi to hrozně, protože minulou mistrovství Evropy se mi to nepovedlo, nebo jsem ten limit zaběhla až těsně po tom nominačním období, nebo až po tom mistrovství. Takže jsem z toho byla docela smutná a na tenhle rok jsem chtěla cílit a doufám, že hlavně předvedu něco tam, že to nebude jenom teď se vystřílet a tam už si jenom to je užít, ale chci tam něco ukázat a dokázat, že tam patřím.
Hodně štěstí.
Děkuji moc.
Well, great to hear from some of the athletes beforehand. Meanwhile, this men's high jump competition has been taking place. Adam Tomaszek, the nice clearance for him at 2:08, and he's done this time and time again. Nice and comfortable. 2:17 is lifetime best, 2:14 season's best, importantly. But interestingly, this man struggling at 2:08. Strasser. 2:20 jumper is his best. And so for some reason, one reason or another, this men's high jump just struggling to get going. A few of them a little way down from where perhaps they would like to be. And you can see Lionel Strasser just going back, looking over. And Bolstad of Norway. Of course, we've seen the talents of many Norwegian athletes on the track. The likes of Warholm, Maiga, Ingebrigtsen. They are a rising powerhouse in the world of track and field, but we don't get to see too many in these field events. Perhaps Bolstad taking a bit of inspiration. Oh, well, good speed, but couldn't quite execute. He's on 2:08. Norwegian just skimming it there, as you can see. Went clear at 2:03. 2:08 first time failure. He'll have more. Well, Daniel Kosonen then of Finland, 25 years of age. Now we start to get up to some of the heavy hitters of this competition. That little sloppy came down on it. It was all happened quite quickly. And perhaps didn't quite hang in the air for long enough on that one. Kosonen. But yeah, 2:24 lifetime best. He's right around there this season as well, 2:23. But first time failure at 2:08. And we're seeing the introduction of quite a few men in this field, despite them being around that 2:20 mark at their best. Brian Raats of South Africa now stepping into the competition. Having a pretty solid year so far. And again, he's another athlete who's been able to do a lot of competitions. Oh, sails clear, and you could be looking at one of the favorites. The crowd like that for sure, but that was very, very smooth. Raats. Look at that, and that's the best. We've seen a lot of athletes struggle, to be honest. That's the best jump we've seen so far. He's Paris Olympian, of course, a South African, and World Under-20 silver medalist once upon a time. And as well as being the national champion, still just 21 years of age. Has a fantastic future ahead of him. As Raats. Well, Bahanik. Nice clearance for him. Fairly routine, Marek Baranik there, the Czech athlete, 6 times the national champion. Did win in Prague a few days ago, 2:15. I have a feeling it's going to take more than 2:15 to win here in Kladno, but he is in good form and he's winning competitions. And in the Belgian for Meren. Oh, wow. Sails clear, doesn't he? And with a 2:26 season's best. What can we expect from him to come? National champion last year. Has a triple jump background. This man can jump. Lifetime best from 2022, though. That 2:27, and he's getting ever and ever closer to it now in 2025, just a centimeter shy, clearly showing some really good form. Well, we pan back to Peric, who is at the moment looking like he's going to go out of competition unless he can respond, unless he can go clear. 208, second attempt. Oh. Yep, well, he's going to have now the pressure and mounts. He's going to have one more attempt to go. Peric, and he is a long way off his best at the moment. So some frustration. Looks like there's a bit of wind down on that bottom bend at this stage. For sure. Ooh, the Austrian. Just struggling a little bit there.
Samozřejmě čekají nás závody, které budou důležité teprve a tam samozřejmě cílíme.
Prvním vrcholem sezóny pro české atlety by mělo být mistrovství Evropy družstev v Madridu. Jak velkou ztrátou je Nikoleta Jíchová, která si poranila koleno a bude chybět celou sezonu?
Tak je to specifický závod, že startuje jeden na disciplínu a samozřejmě my musíme obsadit všechny disciplíny. Nejsme tak velká země, aby jsme byli schopní mít velmi kvalitní závodní ve všech disciplínách a Nikoleta samozřejmě nám mohla přinést hodně bodů a ta samozřejmě ztráta bude, ale já věřím, že mladí závodnice ji nahradí a že nám přinesou nějaké body do družstva.
Well, Bolstad Ra looking to go clear. Norwegian. Oh, and that mirrors his first attempt at the height as well, doesn't it? So frustrating for him at 208. Just skimming it. And you know he's got it in him. I mean, a man of his class, he should be able to. He's a 221 jumper at his best. There's something not quite clicking today. One more jump at 208 remaining. Peric also just came into shot there, struggling. Kosonen then getting the crowd fired up. There is a nice crowd forming down here. Lovely intimate arena. You're really close to the athletes. It's a relaxed feel. Kosonen, the finish. Oh, and that, I mean, talk about Bolstad mirroring his first attempt. That mirrors Kosonen's as well, just clattering through the bar as opposed to even being able to get up over it. Just clatters. Just knows the minute he takes off. Power wasn't there in him. Oof. Thought the whole thing was going to come down then. So interestingly enough, I mean, this men's high jump competition could be over really before it gets going. A lot of these men struggling at 208, which is a modest height for them. Several men have jumped way beyond 220. 7 men, 220 plus jumpers, and even the likes of Peric here. 214 at his very best. 209 season's best though, so it would be bit of a psychological barrier. He would love to have a go at 212, I'm sure, just to start to pick things up this season, just to turn it around. So, Marek Peric. Waiting, calculating, visualizing what he is going to have to do. Just waiting for a bit of calm, and I'm sure he's going to get that crowd going. He needs them here. And Czech, a lovely local town. This meeting, by the way, growing more and more. Aged well, first founded in 2015, so we're 10 years old this year. Mightily impressive. And now it's obviously World Tour status, bronze label. 249 World Tours, by the way, across their calendar year from January, so that does include the indoor season, from January all the way through to December. It's quite astonishing, and that has grown. When the World Tour first became, I'll use the phrase, official, and came into light and was a regular on the calendar, I think it was 2019, 2020, as it happens, and they started off with just 28 meets that year. Obviously, it was COVID, 69 meets the following year. In 2022, though, you know, well through the pandemic by that point, through the Olympic Games, 152 World Tours took place, 12 gold, 18 silver, 53 bronze, and 69 challenger events. And in status, they go in that order, gold, silver, bronze, and challenger. And then as the years have gone by, we've gone from 150 to pretty much 250 in just 3 years. So then, Marique Peric then, final attempts, 2:08. Can he do it? To stay in the competition, not quite. It's just not going to happen for the Czech man today. Unfortunately, on home soil, he is out the competition at this World Tour event. Well, the next on the track, women's 100 meters. This is the fastest race of the day as well, that A race. Let's have a look who we've got. Pavla Kavčíková. She goes on the inside lane, 11:61 her lifetime best. Saragusa then, the Italian, 11:21. She is a member of that 4x1 quartet on a regular basis. Competed in the 2021 Olympic Games. Forster, Slovakian, in good form, very, very good hurdler, national record holder over the hurdles for her nation, 60-meter hurdles and the 110 hurdles. 6 of those European Championships last year in her favourite event, so working on a little bit of speed here in Kladno. Well then, for Paula then, the Olympian in Paris over the 100 and the 200, multiple-time national champion for Cyprus. 11:25. She's going to be a threat, dead center as well. She's going to know who the challenges are to the left and right. This woman is going to be one. Rebecca Hází, 11:06, fastest in the field by 0.2 of a second. 32 years of age now, European champion in 2022. Third at the Paris Olympic Games, 5th in Tokyo on the 4x1 relay team. Superb German quartet. Stefanovic then, another athlete who comes into this in strong early season form, 7th in Bydgoszcz a few weeks ago. And Malachi, season opener for her, Malahachu. What can she do? But believe me, the threat going to come from Foster, Paolo, Hází in the middle. And on the inside, Kavčíková, Siragasu, Forster, Paolo, Hází, Stefanovic, and Milahachi. There in the orange, that is Paolo. Great to see her compete over both events, the 100 and the 200 in Paris. To the right of picture, on the outside, to the left of her, Rebecca Hází. So the women's 100 underway in here in Kladno. It's a fast start. Wow, look at this for Victoria Forster. She's accelerating away from the field. Hází trying to get back on terms now in the last 20. Not going to get there. Forster will take it on the line. 11:47, and that was all done in the first 20 meters. They couldn't get near her. Victoria Forster, superb. She's all smiles, the Slovakian, and that bodes well, to be honest. Not quite a season's best, but it bodes well for the hurdler going forward to have that raw speed over the flat 100. And being a hurdler, you expect them to be able to start fast, don't you? They've got to get up into their running over that first barrier. And Victoria Forster demonstrating just what she can do. Hurdles or no hurdles, still one of the very best. Had a great European champs last year, made the final, 6th there. That was a big breakthrough for her, big confidence boost. Let's look at the start then, because for me, everyone gets away pretty evenly, but it was this first 10, 15 meters, and actually on the inside as well. Kavčíková was moving well, but by this point, strength started to prevail. Forster continues. Hází comes into picture, but no one could get on the heels of Forster. And unfortunately, it looks like Siragusa, the Italian, just for whatever reason, couldn't get out of the blocks. And just then, you can see, start to put the brakes on and jog it home. For the Paolo as well, unfortunately, getting left behind and just couldn't get back on terms despite having the fastest season's best in the field of 11:33. the Cyprian international.
I poměrně silný protivítr, 1,5 metru za sekundu, který zpomalil závodnice. Třetí nakonec skončila Magdalena Stefanovičová z Polska, Olivia Fotopulová byla čtvrtá o 0,4 sekundy za svoji polskou.
Well, super race then from Victoria Forster, and great to see a hurdler turning up here. And yeah, that reaction time, 0.13 of a second, which is obviously that legal limit, 0.10. So very, very close. She was the fastest starter and, of course, the fastest throughout the whole race as well. 11.46 for the win. Hase in second, 11.55. And Stefanovic it was who came through, 11.70 on the far side.
Musím povedať, že sa mi bežalo dobre. Myslela som si, že dneska budú dva behy. Nakoniec, keď som sem prišla, tak som zistila, že je iba jeden. Tak to bol pre mňa taký menší šok, ale teším sa, že som dneska vyhrala.
Vnímala jste protivítr? Bylo to hodně nepříjemné, 1,5 metru proti.
Keď sme stáli na tom štarte a prišiel povel, tak som akoby bola taká, že som pociťovala ten silný protivietor. A dúfala som, že dievčatá tiež budú trošku čakať, čo si myslím, že sme čakali, keď nefúkalo, ale vlastne keď sme vybehli, tak očividne začalo fúkať, ale popravde počas toho behu som to nevnímala.
S tím ohledem na podmínky, čas 11.46 berete?
Určite áno, myslím si, že to je dobrý čas do tohoto protivetru a teším sa z toho, áno.
Děkuju a gratuluju.
Ďakujem veľmi pekne.
Well, great to hear from race winner Victoria Forster in that 100. Phenomenal work from the Slovakian. So back to this men's high jump competition. What a clearance there from Merlot. Pretty comfortable from him. And yeah, you would expect the Greek to be able to handle their first time clearance at 2:12. A few others moving well past 2:08, but the only people to go clear at 2:12, him and Adam Tomaszek of Czech Republic, which is great. So we do have a little bit of Czech interest in this high jump. There we are. That was the jump. Pretty much perfect from Marek Banik. Lovely run up, beautifully relaxed on the way over, and just hangs in the air, doesn't he? Banik, 2:12, first clearance, and that's a perfect scorecard. Oh, Strasser. Well, while we were watching that women's 100, he was able to go clear at 2:08, which he was having a bit of struggle with, but yeah, first time failure at 2:12 as well. So could it take him 3 attempts to go clear at 2:12? And in fact, that was a second time failure as well. So pressure's on Strasser at this stage. Women's javelin, Zelenska. It is underway now. 60-88 thrower Zelezna. And that is a long, long way short of what she's capable of. She'll appreciate that. And we'll certainly be making some changes. Kosonen then, what can he do? 2:12. Failure on his first attempt. Can he go clear? Struggled a little bit at 2:08. Surprisingly, he's much, much better than that. The 25-year-old from Finland. He's got a good run up. Oh, well, I was about to celebrate, and I'm sure he was too. They have got, so these high jumpers have got a bit of a frustrating tailwind in many ways. It kind of throws them at the bar a little bit quicker than perhaps they're used to, or perhaps they'd want to approach that bar. So I think especially Kosonen is someone who we have seen kind of crash through that bar a couple times at 2:08. Well on Brian Rotz. 2:12. Failure in the at his first attempt, but so smooth at 208. I mean, this should be fairly routine for him. I expect him to go clear. Here he goes. Yes! Oh, no. No. Had it in the early stages, didn't he? But his legs just catching it on the way through. And I think this wind is having a little bit of a factor with that. They're just sailing through much quicker in that flight phase when they take off than they would. So they might have to adjust perhaps their takeoff or their speed going in because the wind is doing a job for them. And yeah, it makes it difficult. So many events require slightly different conditions to get that perfect jump. So Strauss in to stay in the competition. The Austrian. Oh, well, that's unfortunate because, again, he had that well within him. Bows out. Thanks to the officials, and now we'll watch the competition go on without him. Leon Strasser. Good to see he's all smiles. I mean, these men. Saw a chat with Christian Taylor on a podcast not too long ago saying how different the track event call rooms were compared to the field events. Field events much more relaxed, and I think you have to be to get the best out of yourself. They can't afford to have any tension, and they can only focus on what they're doing. They can't control the outcome of anyone else, and so that's often why we see them sort of chatting and get along so well down there. Bolstad then, the Norwegian, to stay in the competition. Oh, okay. Well, 212 seems like it's going to be that deciding marker then. He doesn't look happy, does he? And it's understandably so. So there we are. Bolstad fouls out. Unfortunately, and that will have him down in 8th place to finish, but this man still to go. Can he go clear? He's a 220-plus jumper is his best. Should be routine. What can he do? Third and final attempt. Yes, he does. Finally. There we are, the 4th man to go clear. Kosonen. Nicely done. Well, pressure's a privilege, and that man is proving that he needs a little bit of pressure to get the best out of himself. His scorecard indicates that for sure. 3 jumps to clear 208, 3 to clear 212. Brian Ratz, what can he do? South African champion earlier on, easy. And that is the Ratz we expected to see early doors. That's who we expected to see on that first attempt at 212. Much, much better. So then we've got 5 men who have now gone clear at 212. Jeff Vermeulen of Belgium decided to pass. He went clear at 208. First time attempt there, passed at 212. So now the bar will jump to 216, which, considering how many struggled at 212, I think we're going to have a few more struggle at 216. In theory, though, all of these have cleared that mark before, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Women's javelin, Becca Walton, the Brit, 25-year-old, studying up at Loughborough University, multiple British national champion. Lifetime best, 59 meters. That's going to be just shy of that, closer to 50 than 59, I would say. 55.36, there you are. Xing Jiju. What can the Chinese athlete do? 61.44, a lifetime best, to give you an indication. Well short at the moment. She is struggling this year. 54 meters, season's best. But to give you a bit of context with the javelin, anything around about 60 meters would see you at this current stage in the season on the cusp of top 20 in the world, perhaps just outside as the more and more competitions that unfold over the next few weeks. 65 meters plus. Very good. You're right up there, world class, and pushing for those final spots come the global championships. So down on the track, men's 100 meters also getting ready to go. And we're due off in just 2 minutes' time. This is the A race. David Dvorak goes in 1. Andre Kurda, Marcus Fuchs, the Brit, Andrew Robinson, another Brit. So we've got 2 Brits in this one. 2 Czechs, an Aussie, Caleb Law. We'll focus on this man, though. He's 24 years of age, Dvorak. Good starter. And we saw a good starter in Victoria Forster win that previous race, so I wonder if he can do the same. Well, there's Kurda, another man to look out for. Fuchs then, semi-finalist at the European Championships last year. Was an Olympian in 2024. Certainly a man with some great experience. From Austria, Robertson, Andrew Robertson. What a great indoor season he had. Rather a breakthrough season. 3rd at those European Indoor Championships. Great 60-meter runner. Talk about fast starters. He is one. Caleb Law then of Australia. 10:17 is lifetime best. Strongest event is no doubt the 200 meters. That's the one he won a World Junior bronze medal in 2022. He was the first Australian teenager to make a semi-final at a global championships as well that year. The World Championships in Oregon. Leboski then, 10:33. His lifetime best and season's best. He's doing well. He's in form. 23-year-old, however, he's going to be right at it if he wants to compete here. And Simmer right on the outside. 10:81. His PB, but coming through, developing well, just 17 years of age. Can he get amongst it? That's a very, very good national level time. And now he's going to push against a very, very strong international field here at Kladno. World Tour bronze meeting. That man, dead center, wearing the Sale Harriers Manchester colours. Andrew Robertson. 3rd at the British Indoor Championships, then went on to come 3rd at the European Indoor Championships. He's often a member on the British or English 4x1 squad. So him and Law go in 4 and 5. Fuchs of Austria goes in 3. He'll be in the red. Elevosky, Horoch, Simmer, Benjamin Jakobin here as well. So away they go. Then look at that start from Robertson. It's good. Fuchs is up alongside him. Robertson now coming into his own. This is a very, very good last 30 for a 60-meter specialist. Is he going to get there? No! The 200-meter specialist, I think, edges him on the line. Caleb Law of Australia, or is it Robertson? I can't call it. We're going to have to wait for a photo finish. They're giving it to Law, and I thought, you know what, he just had the momentum. He dipped as well. Robertson gets second, 10:39. Fuchs there, 10:56. Good running from him. That's a season opener for Fuchs. But Robertson led for so long, but you could not hold that man back. When Law got going, wow. The 200-meter specialist. He has run 10:17 for the 100, of course. That's into a headwind as well. We'll get the official reading. For the women, it was a minus 1.5 meter per second headwind, which is pretty strong indeed. Tadalowski celebrating in the background. It may well be. So he's going to be happy with his result. Look at this then. There's no way that Law had the right to come back from where he was. Slow start, one of the worst in the field. And Robertson at this stage started to go from strength to strength. He started to pull clear of the rest of the field, and I thought it was done and dusted by this point. But then Law, look at that stride length that he's got coming through, just eats up the ground. And then edging clear of Robertson right on the line. Wow. Well, Australia, they have a fantastic pipeline of athletes coming through, don't they? Ilovsky on the outside, the Hungarian, you can see he was ahead of Law at this stage, but then just continued to pile on through. But yeah, you think about what Gaut's doing. We can't wait to see him in Europe at some of these World Tour meetings, I'm sure, on a Diamond League circuit. And of course, one of the first Australians to break 10 seconds. just the other day as well. So they're sprinting in fine form.
Má ještě celou kariéru před sebou a má před sebou dnes také ještě jeden závod, když se proti českým soupeřům.
There's Lachlan Kennedy, another youngster. Was that man who broke 10 seconds at altitude, albeit at the Kip Keino Classic. But Law wins it, Robertson second, and Fuchs in third there. So close on the line. Time to perfection.
Podle mýho názoru si myslím, že to bylo super. Už i při rozcvičování jsem cítil, že dneska by to mohlo padnout, ten osobní rekord, a podle výsledku vlastně vidíme, že se mi to potvrdilo a že asi znám svoje tělo a vím, že se na to cítím, takže tak.
Jak moc vás omezoval celý protivítr?
Bylo to znát, maličko, hlavně před startem dost foukalo, takže jsem se toho trošku bál, aby to nebylo opravdu hodně velký protivítr, ale myslím si, že to nebylo tak velký, nebylo to tolik cítit a jestli to byl osobní rekord do proťáku, tak jsem víc než spokojený.
To znamená, že ještě je tam prostor něco ubrat třeba při dalších startech?
Určitě, nebo aspoň na to cílíme. Vlastně naším cílem by chtěl být národní nebo nominace jakoby do repre, což je 68. Myslím si, že to půjde. Tato sezona zatím byla protrápená, ale věřím, že tímhle během jsem to zlomil a že to půjde už jenom líp a líp.
Děkuju a hodně štěstí do dalších startů.
Taky moc děkuju.
Well, there we are, the Czech youngster. Well, Antonones Merlos in this men's high jump competition. Standout figure, really comfortable for him. Great to see him go clear. Easy, 2:16 for Merlos. Mind you, Marik Banik is even better jumper. Here we are, Kosonen, and nice clearance. Wow, and for a man who struggled early, Kosonen, that is very, very impressive from the Finnish international. And he, like I said, he does have a 2:24 lifetime best, 2:23 seasons best, 25-year-old. But second time clearance at 2:16. Well, women's javelin competition. A Lithuanian there, CZE Unites. Livita. Good throw from her, and 30-year-old now, but third at those 2018 European Championships. What are we, 7 years on now? Time flies, but yeah, spent a good bit of time in America developing in this event out in Alabama. The comebacks now and really starting to, despite picking up that European medal in 2018, I feel she is getting back to her best. Daiken Cannon, just shy of that 60-meter mark. Really willing that one on at the moment. And, well, it is. She sits in. That will take her into first place off the back of round one. 58-18. Great throwing from Dai. Shikakova in. Czech athlete, what can she do? Can she respond? Launches that one. It was a good release, a quick release. And importantly, that indicates towards something pretty big indeed. It's women's javelin. 600 grams for you at home if you're wondering how heavy it is. It's more the awkwardness of throwing it. The old-fashioned spear throw. And in fact, the translation for a few countries is the spear throw. But, yeah, Shikova then. 58-43. That will take the lead. Brilliant. In the second round. Men's high jump. Vermerian, the Belgian. Multiple time national champion. Here he goes. Can he go clear? Yes, he can. That is very, very smooth. And he's looking good. He's the favorite coming in, the best on paper. We know it doesn't always go to the form book.
s českou atletickou legendou.
But Vermaeren is just starting to ease into this competition. That was second attempt at 2:16.
Nejblíž k Tomáši Staňkovi, neboť dělali stejnou disciplínu. Tomášovi se zatím v letošní sezóně příliš nedaří. Co by mu mohlo dle vaší zkušenosti pomoci zlomit nepříznivou sérii a dostat se třeba za 21 nebo po případě 22 metrů?
Myslím, že to je, on má natrénováno a na rozdíl od jiných roků není zraněný. A on musí dojít k tomu, že na takovémto báječném prostředí toho komorního stadionku tady na Kladně, kde je dobrý kontakt a jsou tu diváci, tak to stačí, aby se mu povedl pokus. A zase on, jak říkal, že je v tunelu. V žádném tunelu není, on to natrénováno má a teďka ono je to trošku, to souvisí s tím, že to vás deptá. I mě to deptalo, když jsem měla natrénováno a nemohla jsem to hodit. Ale dívejte, teďka nás čeká celá série dalších závodů a bude evropský pohár, kde si myslím, že to bude velmi kvalitní soutěž.
Antonius Merlostin from Greece. He's going to go in here as we still just hear from the one of the meet organizers here. But gonna say it was a lovely jump, but just skimming it with his calves there as he flicks him up over the bar. Look at that, gets a beautiful arch. He's got a nice technique on him, hasn't he? He's got the makings of a very, very good high jumper, but just not clicking on that occasion. 2:20 the bar now at, and it is great to see. We've got 3 men left in this: Kosonen, Vermaeren, and Merlos of Greece. So a Greek, a Belgian, and a Finnish athlete.
Díky té podpoře města a těm partnerům svazu to běží a doufám, že to poběží a já si myslím, že i takový menší meeting, ale a není třeba to Praha, je to Kladno, že pořád může přispět k tomu, aby jsme přilákali na tu atletiku víc těch.
Right, Jeff Vermaeren, can he go clear? 2:20, this would be a big statement for him. It would put the pressure on the others for sure, wouldn't it? Easy, 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 wow. And you know what, with the
krásné chvíle, které přináší atletický úspěch.
Děkuju.
Dobrý.
His lifetime best dates back to 2022, but I tell you what, he's probably done it in that jump alone. Look at the clearance over that bar. Goodness me, it indicates, it bodes well, it suggests good signs here. 2:20, first time clearance, and now he's going to be hungry. Can he get the competition done is the question. Will the others fail at 2:20, and then he can dictate where that bar goes next, and perhaps he'll take a crack right at 2:27 on that lifetime best. Wow, Daniel Kosonen. Here he goes. Bar at 2:20. Oh. Well, you give him a little bit of credit for a very, very neat somersault onto the mat there. Nice little flip. And to keep it under the bar, it was nicely tucked in, but yeah, not the aim of the game, unfortunately. No points or prizes for that. Antonius Merlos then, right, second attempt. He would have seen Vermaeren go clear and look good in clearance as well. Confidently clear of 2:20. Right, second attempt. For Merlos. Pressure is on him if he can't go clear. Kosonen will have to attack one last jump for his previous failure. These are the last 3 men remaining in this competition. Just going through his run up in his head, the rhythm needed in order to take off just at the right time. Muscle memory for these guys at this stage. Third attempt, what can he do? That's unfortunate. Second attempt failure, apologies. So he will be now going into his third attempt, Merlos. And that was not his best attempt by any stretch of the imagination. And I wonder what he's thinking now, because that was a long way off of where he'd like to be, and he knows he could do it. He knows he can pull it together at the right time. Now, that is Kosonen, and he will have one jump left at 220, third and final attempt. Interestingly, the same age as Vermaeren. Slightly different career trajectories at this stage in their development. Here he goes. Similar routine to that of a tennis player before they serve, isn't it? They'll have their ritual. What can he do? Kosonen, third and final attempt. Not going to happen. A better attempt, no doubt, than his second round, but not going to do it. So he exits the competition. Now we have two. Until Merlos jumps, he still has to go clear at 220. So it'll be interesting. Merlos' countback card, scorecard, shall I say, looking much, much better than Kosonen. So he will comfortably get second place because he had nothing but clearances at 212 and 216. Whereas Kosonen had several failures. And I think it was just a bit of a ropey start for him, and it threw him off. He could never quite get his running, could he, the Finn? Get his footing in this competition. Antonios Merlos then, the Greek. 26 years of age. Good run up, rhythmic. Can he go clear? Oh, it's a shame. And it was a similar attempt too, wasn't it? Just from the other side of Kosonen. So he bows out. He'll get a second place here at Kladno on the World Tour circuit. Congratulations to him. Not quite at his best today. But all eyes on Vermaeren now. We turn our attention. Men's shot put is also getting going. Kicked off at 8 minutes past 5, so we're well into it now, but we'll catch up with a few of the jumps that we witnessed earlier on. Good throw out there, just under 19 meters. For the Czech athlete, Procházka. Came in at 18.81, round one. Well, he led for a short while. He would have enjoyed his time out there. Jinglin of China, 2010, his lifetime best. Again, one of two Chinese men in this. We've seen a good Chinese contingent represented here at the Kladno meeting. That, right on the cusp of 19 meters. And in his first round, actually ended up equaling that of Procházka. So those two shared the lead for a while. This man steps in, Andrei Toda, the Romanian. The European indoor champion gets his competition going here in Kladno, way over 19 meters, as you'd expect. Nothing less from this man. Great speed in the circle, isn't it? See the way they can transfer power through their bodies from one side and shift it to the other is very, very impressive. 19.59 for him in round one. Then again, that set him up nicely. But this man, Scott Lincoln, was next for Great Britain. Has a further lifetime best. Although didn't produce it when it counts. If he had, he would have won the European indoors himself. But that went out much, much further, didn't it, Scotty Lincoln? His PB at 21.31 last year. Great speed through the circle. Moves through it at pace. And then look, hangs one up. Way over 19 meters. 20 meters and 2 centimeters exactly. Well, Jesse unites then in the javelin. Ooh, very, very strong indeed. We'll have to see how that fares. In comparison to the rest of the field, as she still sits in third place. Jesse unites. 57.97 in round 3. Her best so far, obviously, improving on that first round attempt. Well, then here was Di, sitting in second place at the moment. Bit of strapping on her arm. Let's see if it affects her. Launches that one out. Very quick release. I don't think that affected her one bit. Way over 60. That will take the lead. It's all smiles for Di. So halfway through this women's javelin competition, and she hits the front. Surely with that throw. We'll wait to see the official mark. Coming through now, 61.18 on my screen. Just double check if that is official and it gets ratified. That will comfortably put her out front by just over 1.5 meters to the rest of them. There you are then, round 3. Saving the best at a crucial time in the competition. Putting the pressure on the others, and now she can sit back a little bit, relax a little through rounds 4 and 5. She may have to just leave something in her locker for round 6. Women's 400 up next on the track. All but ready for it. It's women's A race. Athletes just lacing up. So we'll get familiar with a few of these athletes then. On the outside, Santi Giant. Great Spanish 400-meter runner, often a member of their 4x4 quartet. Santi Giant. World Relays gold medalist in the 4x4 as well. 4th in Brussels recently. 52.4 out there. 51.4 her lifetime best. Here we are. Malikova then. Look out for her. Tokyo Olympian at just 19 years of age. A few years on from that. Still running well, but not quite at her best. Brava Malikova. Terezi Taboska. Season opener for her. Talking of 19 years of age, she is currently just 19. Stepping up here. Czech athlete. Strong lifetime best, but she's going to want more. Now the German, really, Corinna Schwab. 50.91, national champion in the 400. Features on many, many German quartets over the years as well, similar to Santi Giant on the outside of Spain. Sophie Becker then of Ireland, another one to look out for. She was on that Irish team that got 4th place at the Olympic Games in the 4x4 in Paris just, well, a little over 12 months ago now. Superb athlete. And there we are, Shmilerova. Right on the inside. Tough lane draw for her. 53.22, her lifetime in season's best. She's going to do well to keep Becker in her sights around this opening bend. Silver medalist at those European Championships in Rome in the 4x4. What a team they have now with Rashidat and Charlie Maudley. Slowly becoming one of the best in the world, that Irish quartet. Can they get on a global podium in Tokyo? That will be the aim for sure. However, focus on the here and now. Sophie Becker in 2. Corinna Schwab goes in 3. Quite tight lanes, as you can see. Only a 6-lane track here at the Kladno Memorial in the Czech Republic. Little blustery down there too. So women's 400 A race underway here. All eyes on lanes 3 and 2. Really, as I mentioned, the likes of Schwab and Becker already up on the German. Is she going to go by her on the back straight, or is that just going to wake the German up a little bit? Measure herself on their outside. Chaposka and Milikova also moving well. The Spaniard, Santi Giant, moving through their first 200. She looks like it's a stagger on wide. She is just about in front I think when they come onto the home straight, it's going to be a pretty even race. Well, now here comes the German, just waking up, holding Becker the whole way round this first 300 meters. But I tell you what, Sophie Becker of Ireland, ladies and gentlemen, coming off what a stellar year it was in 2024 on that Irish quartet, is dominating. Run away from the field here in Kladno in the Czech Republic, and she's going to take a victory on the World Tour circuit by a good few yards. Becker, 51.85. Just outside of season's best. But in blustery conditions and perhaps little competition there, she was able to relax at the right time. And Cindy Dryan on the outside coming through for second, 52.38. Disappointing from the German, really. Never got going in the end. And the likes of Malakova and Taboska have would have enjoyed beating her here. So Schwab, 53. 57, quite a way off, not only her lifetime best, but her season's best as well. But here's Becker on quite a tight, you know, even on this track in lane 2, that's a tight lane to negotiate. Sophie Becker just fading a little bit towards the end, but I think she knew she had the race won and just relaxing through that last 20 meters in order to hold her form the best she can and just fights off any fatigue. You can see just that tension in the upper body just hitting her, but manages to just keep that speed and momentum going. Very, very impressive. And yeah, I tell you what, that Irish team going from strength to strength, and it just gives athletes that extra support. It's what the relays often do. They open up that door for athletes a little bit more than it would if they were just relying on their individual presence, because I'm sure Becker would be the first to admit that, yeah, in order to get that similar level of support, you probably need to be an athlete top 20, top 30 in the world, whereas when you can do it for your country in a team environment at the Olympic Games, 4th place there, European medalists, really puts Ireland on the map. So there's the results. You can see the Spaniard in second, and the Czech athlete, Malakova, getting inside that top 3. So over to the high jump then. He's had a perfect, almost perfect scorecard. Vermaren, the Belgium. Oh, and he goes clear. Brilliant. And I said he was looking good. And I said he'd want Merlos to fail in order to dictate the bar and where it goes next, because I think he's coming to this in PB shape. That was fantastic. 2:24, and that's an equal meet record. We've already seen 2 today. Make it a 3rd, ladies and gentlemen, here in Kladno. Mightily impressive from the Belgian star, the national champion there. And will we see, is he shaking out? He's had enough by the looks of it. Well, here with 3rd place from that women's 400.
Úplně s tím spokojená nejsem, ale pořád se zžívám s životem v Praze a do toho pracuju a trénuju a dodělala jsem bakaláře, takže toho je strašně moc a hlavně jsem ráda, že už ty achilovky nebolej a že tu atletiku mám ráda, že mě to baví, takže fajn.
Jak jste si rozvrhla síly dnes?
Já nevím, já jsem nad tím moc nepřemýšlela. Prostě jsem běžela.
Jaký bude váš další program?
Myslím si, že tretra, takže teďka budu mít chvíli volno a potom tretra a snad teda rychlejc.
Hodně štěstí, děkuju.
Děkuju.
Tady ještě zhrnutí výšky, viděli jsme tam neúspěšný skok Vermairena.
Well, there was quite surprisingly that end result of the men's high jump. Yeah, Vermeiren deciding not to go further, not to push for a lifetime best and just leave it there at a meet record, and a nice handsome victory for him. And the rest of the field, you can see on that second page, Strasser bowing out at 2:08. Some frustrating results a little bit further down for those men. Okay, then. Well, we saw the women take to the track for the one-lap dash, and now we're going to see the men do the same.
Nejlepší výkon historie kladenského meetingu. A zároveň se tedy může chlubit tím primátem jediného muže, který skočil 220 cm.
Cameras are out, ready for what is about to unfold. It's been a lovely crowd here, really produced quite a nice level of atmosphere throughout the whole day. We saw those hammer competitions start early on, 11 and 12 o'clock Day, and now we are here for the pinnacle of the World Tour meeting. If you're just joining us here in Kladno, in the Czech Republic, bronze label. Zeližna. Good release. He's going to have to be, oh, that's not going to challenge, is it? I was going to say, have to be way over 60 meters to get near the leader. And also closer to 60 to make an improvement on her competition so far. So she won't be quite near that, but a good consistent throw nonetheless for her, Zeližna. You can see her scorecard, 55-50 in round 4. So as expected, no improvement on her position. Shikova then, 56-31 in round 3. She's going to want more. Very, very good speed on the release, isn't it? Just fires it through, and that is going to be much better. She sits in second. It won't go into the lead, but there'll be some improvement certainly on her mark, surely. Got to be right around 59 meters, one would expect. Let's have a look then. 59.45, great throw for her, and just back up to where she was in round 2 and beyond. Zeližna there. Still in 4th. Can she get inside that top 3? Round 6. This women's javelin competition, by the way, if you're confused how fast it's jumping along, has been ongoing throughout all the other races that we've witnessed on the track. Leaving it late, had a little more room to perhaps release Zeližna there, but it's been a consistent showing for her here in Kladno. And she'll take that, the Czech athlete, but won't improve on her mark. 56.14, so an improvement on the actual distance, but not on her position within the field. And that was the confirmation of the official results there. Dai, Shikova, and Yassi Unite there. In 3rd, 57.97, good throw from the Lithuanian. Well, the men down there warming up for their 400. We've got a couple 4s, and then we will finish with the 200s. And I think we are going to see the likes of Kladno. It's definitely rumours, and he was on a few start lists earlier on. Whether we see him line up for that 200, we'll wait and see. But we are going to see a few men and women who competed over the 100, double back in that 200. So the men's 400, there you are. Krenik on the inside. He goes in 1. On the outside, Enyingi in fine form. 2 men share the same lifetime best, you can see. Krisek, another one. So they go in 5 and 6, 45.53. I'm so excited to see that matchup. But Kijanovic, the Serbian, the fastest of all of them, 45.50. It's an even field. It really is. And you think 45.60 as well. 66 for the like of Iggy Christian Iggy of Belgium. Winner at that World Indoor Championships in the 4x4 back in Glasgow 2024. Anyway, focus on this man, Enyingi. Just 24 years of age, Hungarian, part of that Hungarian 4x4 team who got bronze at the World Indoors this time around in China. Spends a lot of time working with a psychologist, puts his success certainly down to that. Krisek then, look out for him. He was 3rd in the mixed relay at the World Championships 2023. 7 times the national champion. Very, very good indoor runner is Krisek as well. Arguably pound for pound better indoors than he is outdoors. Iggy the Belgian athlete, like I said, he's a member of that 4x4 quartet led by Doom. What a championship they had in 2024 indoors, and here he walked away with the gold medal himself. Kijanovic then, national record holder over the 200 and the 400 for Serbia. He's got good short, good under distance speed. 46.1 as well, so a nice season's best coming into this in good form. Keena Blake. Look out for the Dutchman. Won in Italy just last week for a season's best and a lifetime best, 45.73. So actually, out of everyone, perhaps he's showing some great speed. It was quite good weather there. A little bit of a headwind on the home straight. They'll like that. But Krenek didn't. Again, we saw in the previous race, it is quite a tight track, so a tough lane draw in one for Filip Krenek, but great experience for him, the Czech athlete. So one of two Czech athletes. Krisek is the one further up, out in lane 5.
Aklimatizace v jeho podání probíhá podobně složitým způsobem jako pro zahraniční soupeře. Nad kladenským starodem letiště se nám teď lehce zatáhlo.
There he is then.
Větru mluvíme po celou dobu mítinku, ten dělá problémy běžcům. Samozřejmě nejen jim, tak teď ještě
the Belgian athlete.
Přát, aby nezačalo pršet.
Equal time between Krisek and Inyingi on the outside. Kijanovic, the Serbian, can he spoil the party? All the crowd will be going and rooting for Matej Krisek. Sixth at those World Indoor Championships in 2024, showing his class on the boards. He goes in 5 in the yellow. Inyingi on the outside in the green. Blake goes in 2. You're looking at him now, 45.73. He's the man in form, fresh off a victory just a week or so ago and a lifetime best. Krenek, Blake, Kijanovic, Givasel, Krisik, and Inyingi. And it's a clean start from all. Who is going to get out hard? It looks like right on the outside, actually, Inyingi is moving pretty well there in the red. Krisek just looking to hold that gap at this stage. He won't be put off by it. He'll know that he's got work to do around that bend, but those two, there's the head-to-head. Igavasel is just pulling up, you can see, on the Czech athlete Krisek round this top bend. Has he measured it, or has he just not got the legs today? Kijanovic struggling to hold Blake on the inside, who's looking very, very powerful. I mentioned he comes into this in great form. There's Blake, a win just a few weeks ago. He's going to back it up here in Kladno. He leads coming off the bend into the straight. The Dutchman, Keena Blake, is leading, but on the outside, and Inyingi's going to just have the strength. He's going to edge clear. He takes it on the line. Impressive from him, 45.61. And that'll be a season's best for Inyingi. Well, one of the things he credits his success down to is working with a psychologist. And you know what? He had the mindset, the belief late on in that race, not to panic, to stay composed, and came through for the win. And you know what? Kijanovic there saying he got second, Igavasel in third. And you know what? I'm just a little bit confused because I'm sure it was Keena Blake coming through. Unless he really tied up on the line. I was all focused on this man in Inyingi, to be honest with you. Big victory for him. Let's have a look at a replay on that, because if Blake has come 5th in that one, he's faded drastically in that last 20, 30 meters. As Inyingi pulls away. This is the story with 120 meters to run. Inyingi did have a little bit of a lead, but for me, Blake put his foot down, and coming off this bend, his transition off to the bend into the straight was fantastic. But then Inyingi starts to come back at him, and there is no way Blake doesn't get second in this race, surely. So I think we're seeing a bit of a mistake on the results there, because it was Inyingi, Blake, Igavasel, then Krisek, then Kijanovic, and then Krenek, by the looks. If we go on those images, that's for sure. But so there we go. So perhaps a mix up in the lane draw there, but it definitely was Keena Blake who got second, and Inyingi there wins it 45.60. Let's hear it.
Hodnotím to kladně. 59 je slušný výkon a jenom jsem si dokázala to, že umím házet i stabilně. Dokonce i druhý byl 58, takže na tom se dá stavět a příště to nevylepším.
Co chybí k tomu, aby třeba ten jeden pokus ulétl dále za 60-metrovou hranici?
Tak určitě jako tohle je dobrá nastavba tomu, naházet takových víc a víc a potom spojit to dodělání oštěpů dopředu a to, co tam třeba bylo dneska. Dneska jsem to nedodělávala, foukal nám taky trošku protivítr, to tomu taky trošku škodilo. Takže jenom čekám, až to sedne a kousek to odletí dál.
Hodně štěstí, děkuju.
Díky moc.
Well, men's shot put competition. Here we are. We're seeing Zhang. One of his early throws right on that 19-meter line. 7.26 kilo. 1888 in third place after round 2. Slight improvement on his first round throw. Toda's in here, the European indoor champion. What a surprise that was, but he can now wear that crown for a couple of years. Thomas Stanek, the Czech athlete. This is the other Chinese man, Jing. Opts for a slightly different technique. That's good. Now that, well over 19 meters. Doesn't look to quite be near that 20-meter line, though. And there you are. That was his best, one of his best throws of the competition. Toda, this is a highlight, by the way, this men's competition, done and dusted. Andrea Toda of Romania. What could he produce? Produced his very best, a PB at that European Indoor Championships to take gold on that occasion. I think a lot of men were a bit disappointed they couldn't bring their best out on the day. And so many times field events are about that, aren't they? If you can perform at your best on the day, the chances are not many others can, and you will deliver. 1998. That was his best throw. Put him in second for a short while as we continue to tell the story of this women's shot. This man, Thomas Stanek. What a name, what a figure in Czech athletics, and continues to inspire many, many athletes around him. Master technician, as you can see, and completely launched that one out. 20.71 was his best throw, and interestingly was the only throw he got on the board. Around that, 5 fouls. So it's good or nothing for Thomas Stanek, and luckily he had a good one in round 2 with 20.71. Right then, the men's 1500 here. Next up on the track, and then we will conclude the action with a couple of 200-meter races. This men's A race, one of the men to look out for. Well, there's Shavinka. 350. He's going to struggle to live with this, to be honest with you. On the inside of him, Tobias Tent of Germany, 342, just a 19-year-old. I know they're excited about him. We'll look to that European Under-20 champion, Çelik'tin. Remember Çelik of Turkey, 335, his lifetime best. Still just 23 and progressing very, very nicely. Mujahid, 335, man. Basotti, then we gotta talk about him. Several-time national champion. 32 years old now, perhaps not quite at his best, but this man is Casey Kumba, 334. Working on his steeplechase as well, running 32 not too long ago. Piers Copeland, that 334, also from a few years back. 337 season's best, but ran fast over 800 just on the weekend. 146 on that occasion. So Copeland and Kumba, for me, as long with Basotti, wants to watch in this men's 1500. We're underway here. And the pacer, ideally, is going to get them as far as possible. The one perk that these men have is that it's not too busy out on the track. And I think you want that when you're going to go fast. The pacer just egging them on. Look, Copeland's going to have to go in behind. Finds himself at the front. Perhaps didn't want to be there. And that's Çelik who sits in behind him. Pacer's just rallying the crowd up as well. Getting them going. They're going to need some support in this men's 1500. Looking the best out of all of them at this stage, the pacer, as they cruise along. What are they going to be at 300? These men completely locked in. Piers Copeland, 43 low at 300, so that's good enough. All they want really is 58, so that set him up for a 335. I think a lot of these men would take 334, 335 in this 1500, but Copeland just isolated, keying off the pacer, 57, 58, 0 at 400. Well, the British international, Piers Copeland, has had a few setbacks over the years, just like a few of these men. Casey Coomber now in second. He's moved up a spot as Celik begins to struggle. 339 is season's best from Brussels. That was this year. Basotti continues to move up as well. He's been to so many major championships as Basotti. He's got great experience, but never quite made it out the heat. Has never quite delivered on the big stage. Now the pacer checking his shoulder. Wondering where they've gone. Copeland perhaps just being a little cautious at this stage. Yeah, that lap much closer to 60, wasn't it, through that 400? And Copeland knowing that if he is to win this, he is going to have to hold off a fast-closing Kuma, who, pound for pound on paper, very, very similar matched. And there we are, 159 at 800. So, not ideal. And it looks like they are running that off of the likes of Copeland, not the pacer, so they're ignoring him, which is quite handy because sometimes that throws it off. Tobias 10th in the young 19-year-old. Now, this is a big move from him on the outside in the black strip, leaning in on Coomber. Is he going to go past Copeland at this stage? It perhaps is a little leggy from the weekend, raced over 800, and he is. Good. This is a bold move from the youngster, the Moroccan. Mujahid on the outside. Now moves up onto the shoulder of 10. Copeland won't be done. He's got a fast close on him as the British international. Coomber now looking to go by. Basotti hasn't really featured, but he's always been there in the pack in the white, the Italian. On the edge, so it's the Moroccan who now leads. Swings by at the bell, pass Tobias 10. Coomber's been in second pretty much all race long. He's covered every move. He's run this perfectly, as a 1500-meter runner should. We won't be able to see that lap, unfortunately. But Celik is back into the equation. The man who sort of tucked in early on, and this is a fast close from Celik. Copeland just finally waking up after falling asleep for a lap. Coomber on the outside. Mojahid, the Moroccan, continuing to move. 335.07. He's got the fastest season's best, and he's in form. He's fresh off the lifetime best as well. Casey Coomber, though, the steepler over from the United States of America. He's going to do a little bit of a European tour. I'm sure he's going to get back over the barrier soon, but there's a barrier in front of him now, and that's Mujahid, and he can't get by him. The Moroccan's going to take it if he can hold it to the wire. Yes, he can on the line. It's close, but he does enough. And that's good. He makes a habit of winning. Mujahid of Morocco got a credit in there. He was second last week in Toulouse, but here he is back on top. Opened up his season, that Rabat Diamond League, 340.79, so not a fast time at all. It was a little windy out there, but these men will be disappointed with that. Coomber, perhaps a bit confused. He didn't really put a foot wrong for me, Coomber. He did all the right things, just didn't have the legs on the home straight, did he? Celik there, 340, Copeland, 341. Yeah, Basotti Neves, the Italian international, one of their stars. Like I said, been to so many. Been to the Olympic Games, been to the World Championships, European Championships, but struggling a little bit in 2025. Tobias 10, it was a bold move from him, and it didn't pay. 346 comes out the back door of this lead group. So I would have been interested to see what that last lap was. Look at that, full flight, these men. Great running from Celik, just managing to turn over and dip and getting that shoulder out. That's where they'll take the mark. You often see people throw their hand up and arm out because the photo finish will look at not your arm, not your head, not your leg, but the shoulder, the first part really. Anything attached to that core part of your body. So that's why we saw Celik just leaning over, twisting to that left side. But season's best for Coomber.
nejlepším sezónním výkonu. Druhý, třetí tedy Mehmet Čelik a my se ještě vrátíme k
Čelik and Mujahidin
závodu na 400 metrů.
sandwich around him in that men's 1500, and Shavinka there, 3:48. Nice lifetime best for him. Good to be a part of it in that World Tour bronze label.
Matěj, jak jste spokojen s dnešním výkonem? Jak se vám vůbec běželo?
Běželo se mi docela dobře, ale jsem zklamaný. Jako, ten výkon je úplně jiný, než jsem myslel, že bude, a v tuhle chvíli nevím, čím to je. Uvidíme, no, co dál ještě.
Vnímal jste třeba protivítr? Mohlo vám to třeba trošičku ubrat tady do té závěrečné rovinky do finiše?
To mohlo, ale já myslím, že jako vítr byl dneska dobrý pro čtvrtkaře, takže opravdu nevím, čím to bylo, že jsem neběžel rychlejší.
Děkuju vám.
Díky.
Well, just a couple races left, and that's the 200 meters on the track. But we'll pan back next to this shot put competition, which is, of course, unfolding. And we saw a few recaps throughout. We were yet to see Scott Lincoln's throw, but yeah, Zhang, this was one of his best. Out over 19 meters. Going for that glide technique, works for him. Many of the very best will adopt that spin, though. I think they can just generate a little bit more speed. They can transfer that force a little bit easier, a little bit quicker compared to that glide. Chinese athletes over in force, and they have a few competitions lined up, series of World Tour events. But Zhai Langjing, the better of the two Chinese athletes, 24 years of age, fires that one out over 19 meters. And again, this was his best throw, 1998. We saw a little bit earlier on as well. It wouldn't challenge, unfortunately, 1925, so it wouldn't challenge the 1998 of Andrei Toda and Thomas Stanek and Scott Lincoln. Those were the top three. Nice season's best for Lincoln, actually, 21:09. Well, Simon Mazur then. You can see the shot putters, interestingly, wearing slightly different shoes. They'll have one which is a little bit more worn, a bit more spin to it. As you can see, good throw for him. The pole, 1881 was his best throw, and it did come right at the end. 1852 in the middle there, 1881 right at the end in the sixth round for him. This men's long chopper competition has concluded. Vilemek. See, he's got a few. They're not bruises on his arm. That's a recovery method. Cupping. Yeah, cups effectively go on there. You suck the air out of them, and they just enhance blood flow at that point on the body, as you can see. Nasty bruises, but 16.72 in round 4, 17.24 was his best. Until the last round, that was when he managed to throw a season's best of 17.31. So Shimon Mazur, once again, saw his 18.52 throw. Well, this was his sixth round leave. Just wanting a little bit more from his body, isn't he? I think just a little laboured out there. And no one throwing particularly far today. No one getting up near their best too much. So one reason or another, perhaps it's pretty humid down there. But yeah, 18.52, 18.26 in the fourth. He was consistent. Prochaska.
Pokrok ani pro Poláka. No a my jdeme za Tadeášem Procházkou. Tadeáš Procházka 25
his round 4 attempts. Good modest throw, good spin, very, very good speed. Went out right a little bit though, didn't it? Lost a little bit of yardage there. But happy nonetheless, 1868. So it was, despite those 2 fouls in 2 and 3, a nice consistent throw for him, but still remained down near the bottom of the pile, down in 7th with his Czech teammates. Those guys just not being able to get amongst these international stars here. All right, Zhang, like I said, going for that glide, hung that one up nicely. Good throwing from him. Out right on that 19-meter mark, and it was just, in fact, touch over, 19:05 in round 4. Well, Jing, another Chinese start. Getting right up near his lifetime best, just 60 meters or so shy of it. Over 19. So he awaits that mark to come back. Another 19:25, equaling that second round. Well, there's some of the crowd that are enjoying themselves here at Kladno. That is at this historic meeting, 10 years old this year. And already we've seen national records. We've seen 3 meet records, by the way. It's been a fantastic afternoon of athletics. I was saying earlier, if you're just joining us, we've got a couple races to go, but this is one of 249 world tours throughout the calendar year, all the way from January to December. Of course, that includes the indoor season. Over 100 of those are World Challenger meetings. Above World Challenger are bronze label meetings, like we've got here in Kladno. Above that is a silver label meeting, and then above that, the gold label meeting. And of course, so World Athletics adopting a bit of a tiered system, and gold meetings will give out more prize money. The athletes will be higher caliber. There'll be some international stars at those gold, and we do get them, especially at this one, notoriously famous for its throwing events. We get a lot of stars here. This man is one. Toda, European indoor champion, fires that one out. Whoa, it's close to 20 meters, I would say. That was sharp. And I think there's certain meetings across the world where they're recognized and renowned for slightly different things, and this one certainly has, or puts a big weighting on throwing events. 1991 it was, indeed, for Toda. Well, Scott Lincoln threw 20 meters in 2 centimeters in the first round, then 3 fouls for him. What could he do in the 5th? He had to get back. Had to try and challenge again. But that was way, way, way out of 21 meters. We have to see, because I think there was a little bit of controversy on this. But 21:09 for him, very, very impressive in the 5th. And that was one of 2 clear throws. He wasn't able to make another throw, and so 2 out of his 6 counted, and that's all he needed. He only needed the 1 to count, really. 21:09, very impressive. Thomas Stanek, then, another man, so fouled in the first. 20:71, which led for a while until we saw that from Scott Lincoln. Could he improve on it? You can see he falls out of the circle. It was a good throw. Wouldn't have been good enough to challenge, but again, the likes of Tomáš Staněk will be disappointed because he had one legal throw today here at the Kladno Memorial meeting.
V letošní sezóně startoval Tomáš Staněk v hale v Jablonci, kde zvítězil, byl čtvrtý v Ostravě, třetí v Lieván, třetí v Nehvězdech. Pak přidal svůj další halový český titul opět v ostravské hale.
So then they were the high jumpers, and I think are waiting their prize giving. And those were your top three. Merlos coasting into the far right. Merlos in the middle there in the red, and Vermeiren in the middle. Thomas Weilemektin will go back to this Czech athlete, see what he was to throw.
Útočil z 8. příčky v tom užším finále mezi koulaři, do kterého neprošli Marek Hrubý a Petr Stehlík, nástupce.
Established Czech thrower, isn't he? You can see, you know, what throwing means in this country. Field events are often the most popular. They just have a rich history of performance. A lot of athletes to look up to, and importantly, coaches who really understand the event. These technical events is difficult. There's not as many world-class coaches, and I think that's fair to say across the globe, but across individual nations as well. And you really need to surround yourself by people who have been there and done it on the biggest stage of all when it comes to these technical events. And every athlete slightly different. Simon Mazur then of Poland, his 6th round throw. What's he got? Bang on 19, pretty much, just a bit shy. I don't think he's going to just tip over that mark today. Which is a little bit of a shame for him. 2018 at his very, very best. He was a fantastic junior, was the Pole. He won lots of world medals. He just hasn't transitioned that well to the senior ranks. Of course, the weight gets a little bit heavier, but and I'm sure he's had some injuries over the years. There's always a reason why, isn't there? But most importantly, has that talent in his lockup. Prochaska then. That one again, just spinning out. That will be a foul. Illegal throw for him, and well shy of where he'd wanted to be anyway. So fouled in the 6th, unfortunately. And then we were all eyes on this man, Zhang. 1905 back-to-back. He couldn't do that again if he tried, surely. Precision in round 4 and 5. Still remained in 5th, though. It's a long one, and it was well over 19. And it was going to be an improvement for sure, but how much? He would have needed 19.25 to go clear of his countryman and leapfrog Jing. But 19.28 did that, bumped him up into 4th. But then along came his countryman, as if to say, what you can do, I can do better. Who, interestingly, what are the chances? Also through, look at that, 2 throws, 19.25 in the 2nd and 4th. His countryman throwing 19.05 twice back-to-back. But this was a much better throw, landed that one well over 19, and most importantly, claimed back that 4th spot. Zhailang Jing, 19.59 in the 6th round. Pulling it out when it counts, and did well to just keep his balance. You could see just leaning out the circle as he was fixated. Where's that shot gone? How far is it? Chuckling to himself as he moves clear of his countryman, and he won't be able to respond now. And that wrapped up his competition. Hey, but it was a great season's best for Scott Lincoln. Took the win, no doubt about it, quite comfortably in the end. Tomáš Staněk in 2nd, and Toda there in 3rd as we move to this women's 200. Speedsters take to the track. There's the lineup. Kavinchkova, Bendova, Lamakova as well, and Hase. These are the athletes that we saw in the 100, all doubling back, actually. You often see it. So this women's 200-meter A race. Rebecca Hází, the 32-year-old, a member of that German 4x1 team. She's had a wonderful career with them, continuing to go from strength to strength. What can she do over the 200? Headwind round his top bend into the straight. So way to go, clean start. It is quite tight bends, but you're looking at the German to really dominate this one. You can see her fight round that bend. She'll slingshot off the top bend in front at this stage. That's a pretty convincing lead coming into the final 100. Challenging on the inside, though, of course, it is Kavachkova. She had a great start in the 100. Can she hold it together? Not quite. Rebecca Hází showing her class, showing her strength. She'll take this women's 200, 23:41, and it will make up for the 100, I'm sure about that. She would have been a little bit disappointed there, getting beat by a hurdler. But nice, convincing win, 23:40. And that'll be a season's best. After just, what, an hour or so after that 100. Kavachkova getting second and Bendova third there. Lamakova, 24:00 for fourth. So great racing. The only person who's going to walk away with a season's best. Well, in fact, Kavachkova there will get equal season's best, 23:79, if that's an official clocking. So she'll take that. Interesting. She challenged well, didn't she, Pavla? Kavachkova. Coming off this bend, it was all Hází, and then just Kavachkova got a little boost down the home straight, put her foot down, really challenged, and it almost just forced Hází to just go to the arms and just put her foot down and start to dominate. Perhaps she was hoping for a little bit of an easier victory here. Comfortably across the line in the end. So great win and a good day's work for her, and I think you have to be used to that often, especially when you're doing those relays. They have to go in and around your individual event, and you often do a relay on tired legs. Acknowledging that. Also acknowledging its early season. She's got a long way to go till Tokyo. She is by sure going to feature in that 4x1 quartet. Hopefully, that's what she'll be running for anyway. So Rebecca Hází, season's best for her. Lamakova as well. And that is a little unfair. Equal season's best for Kavachkova as well.
Nebylo to špatný, ale čekala jsem, že dneska budou ještě trošku lepší podmínky, že to bude dobrý závod s konkurencí a chtěla jsem to stáhnout určitě ještě trošku líp a víc ten čas.
Vy jste předtím běžela 100. Cítila jste to v nohách?
Asi ani tak ne, spíš ten vítr byl znova na té 200 se opakoval, takže to bylo docela na novo.
Děkuju vám.
Děkuju moc.
Tak to byla pardubická atletka Pavla Kvasničková, která nebyla úplně spokojena s tím výsledným časem. Umí i rychlejší 200, to je pravda. Ale druhé místo se
Well, great to hear from Chivicka. Chivicova. And now we move. One final event of the day is the men's 200.
71 cm sezónní maximum. Je to odrazový můstek k lepším zítřkům.
Já bych řekl, že snad, nebo doufám, že jo, no. Konečně jsem měl radost i z toho projevu, že jsem nebyl takovej, na dně se silama, což jsem posledních pár týdnů měl. A i když byl jeden platnej, tak jako byl to de facto zajišťovák a pak samozřejmě jsem šel po lajně a po nějakým lepším pokusu, ale jsem rád, že konečně tam je trošku energie, s čím byl teď vůbec největší problém a nevěděli jsme vůbec, čím to bylo. No.
Jak se to vlastně stalo? Mohlo to být přetrénováním?
Well, here we go in this men's 200 final event here at Kladno. It's been a great meeting so far, and that man has already got a win under his belt. Caleb Law, right on the inside. Hershik, Hudikic, Law, Kubilic, and Omarodian on the outside. So away they go then in this men's 200. We quickly pan to them. Caleb Law, the fast finishing Australian. He's the best in the field by far. He made a semi-finalist in the Olympic Games and the World Championships over the years. The Aussie. A nation rich in sprinting pedigree right now. And look at him dominate this 200. That is a fine performance. Bouncing back from the 100 victory earlier on. 20:76. Thank you very much. Not quite a season's best, but a good day's work for that man. 20.75. Half a second or more on Kubilic there. Hudovic in third and Hersick in fourth. 22.86. And Omarodian to finish up there, 23.18. But look at this. I mean, it wasn't about the victory here for Caleb Law. I think he knew he was going to get that as long as he could get across the line safely. More about how he can execute after a busy race, a busy 100 before, which he closed very, very fast in, indeed. Had Kubilic on his outside for a little while, but then just eases away. Lachlan Kennedy, another youngster doing very well. I mean, Caleb Law, bronze medalist at the World Under-20 Champs in 2022. And, yeah, Paris Olympian, still just 21 years old. What a fantastic career ahead of him. Taking the win there. So that is, you can see the crowd exiting here at the Kladno Memorial Meeting. It's the final event of the day. We'll just wrap up that result. Caleb Law, 20.75. Eduard Hubilic and Hudicek in third place there. 22.43. So the only lifetime best coming right at the rear of the field. So presentations will continue throughout the evening here in Kladno in the Czech Republic. It's been a lovely meeting once again and another fantastic stop on that world tour. We have many more to come. We saw shot put, hammer, javelin, discus, all those big throwing events here. It's what it's renowned for, this meeting, and some two-lap action, the 1500, 200 as well, and the 100. We saw the speedsters. So it's been a pleasure. I've been your commentator, Matt Seddon, throughout the afternoon into the evening. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the European Athletics YouTube channel. Take care.